Hello everyone, this is Lolly. We are back at Creativation for day one on the showroom floor. Now we had first 2 days of education and we took some workshops, and I saw that one of the workshops for a product called Jesmonite, which I had never heard of, and it said it was a water-based resin. Well, I've worked with epoxy resin, so this really intrigued me, and we took the workshop. Julie and I both did. We fell in love and said this is our new obsession. So I want to tell you, or have Jen tell you, about Jesmonite and what FTC Creative is.
So we're FTC Creative. We are the official U.S. hub for Jesmonite. Jesmonite is a brand. It's a UK-based company. They've been around for over 40 years. So the product is tried, true, and tested. Jesmonite is a brand name. There are a slew of products that fall underneath that, but here at the show we're showcasing the AC100. It is an eco-resin. It's a 2-part system with a mineral base, acrylic polymer liquid. You mix them together, and then about 20 to 40 minutes later you're demolding your little beautiful completed project.
They are really smooth. It feels like a cool stone almost. But it's just so beautiful, and you can embellish these somehow, right? Paint them?
Absolutely can. You can use an acrylic paint to paint on them. You can also tint them with different paints. You can do like I did here, using our pigments, where you can do an ombre effect. So I made my mix. I added 1 drop, poured it into my mold, dropped a second drop, poured it into the mold, add a 3rd drop, mix it, pour it into the mold, and so on.
That
so you
is really
can
cool.
do that. You can also do, which we saw a lot of people do at the class yesterday, where they did their lid one way and then they did their base another color or a swirl, which was really fun. I even saw people trading.
Oh, swapping?
Things. Yeah, swapping, which was pretty cute and pretty fun.
We didn't organize that.
As well. You can also add aggregates to them up to 80%. You can do terrazzo effect like Maddie was showing. We'll show you as well.
Cool.
So,
you know what I was thinking, even this, it's just very slightly domed, but even on other flat surfaces would be to use an adhesive vinyl, cut out a pattern. So it's almost like a coloring book, black line pattern, and then paint it in with the acrylic paint. I thought that would be kind of cute.
Yes.
I was envisioning bees on it, so
definitely.
Very fun.
Yes, and I've seen people stamp them. I've seen people put down, before pouring, they've put down a paper base and then pour it also on a tray so that you have a beautiful paper base, and then they seal it as well.
Oh, yes. Tell us about sealing these.
So there are a couple different ways you can seal it. We have an acrylic sealer in both a matte and a gloss. Okay. And then I also see people using concrete sealers quite often, wax sealers for that.
But you don't really have to seal it, but you can.
If it's going to be in a wet environment, I would absolutely recommend sealing it. But if it's not and it's just sitting out on your counter, no, you don't need to.
Well, thank you so much. So we are going to watch a demonstration.
Super easy cleanup since it's all water based. So if I wanted to wash this a little bit more, since you guys are using terrazzo, I'm just gonna add that to the terrazzo. But you can wash this with just soap and water. Super easy, no heavy in there grit, no elbow grease required. Okay, perfect. So we're gonna go like this, and we're gonna take 64 grams of our acrylic polymer liquid and give it a good shake real quick. And we're going to just twist that off.
Oh, that's heavy-duty quantities.
Oh, yeah.
Tiny little 2-ounce jar.
This is a big boy.
Yeah.
So we'll do 64. A little bit more. Woo! That was a little bit much, so we're just going to add that to this. So I'll use that again. Add it back.
Drip, drip.
And you have to be pretty precise with the measurements, right?
Not necessarily. So what's actually funny is I tell people all this, see, I have 65 right here, and you can have like a 1-2 difference. I always say it's better to have more liquid, just slightly if you're going to go over, just slightly more, because if you have more powder than liquid, it then becomes really hard to pour and super thick. So I honestly add just a little bit of liquid just to make it more easy, more forgiving, and all of that. But yeah, so then I'm going to add this, my powder, into here in small quantities. So kind of like when you're baking, you want to add your dry ingredients to your wet in sections. So the same concept. So I'll do half and half.
You'll notice that her stir cups and her spatulas are all silicone, but she needs the big guns to stir.
So this is our mixing blade. This is available. This is my favorite tool ever. The drill not included, but the mixing blade, the best. It just helps get those lumps and bumps out of there. But it might be a little long. 100%. Unfortunately, just didn't have enough drill bits to go around. But yeah, so it's really easy, makes it way faster. So this is the base color as well. So this is no pigment color added to it. So it's a nice base white, off-white. I like to say you can add
bisque.
Yes, exactly. You can add white pigment to it, but a lot of times you don't really need to, just because, unless you want that super white color. So, and then here's my 2 bucket settlement tank. So we don't want this liquid going down our drain. So what I have here is I have a soapy water, and then I have my regular non-soapy water. So I just give it a quick pass. And then through here. And then the stuff you see on here is already dried and caked on there, so we can't really get it off. But it's just a nice way to clean your tools. It's just and make sure your drains are not getting clogged, because your plumber will not be happy with you if you dump this down your drain.
You can sift the sediment out later, right?
Yes, you can, for sure. Yeah, so when you, there's a lot in here, but
okay.
If I were to reach my hand in there, I could pick
Scoop
up
it
those
up.
chunks for you and show you just what was
Okay.
going on.
So do you put that down first?
No, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pour some into here,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna take my spatula, my silicone spatula again, and I'm just gonna mix these up in here so it looks like kind of like confetti cake batter. So and then we're gonna take this. Yeah, it's perfect amount. So then I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna pour it from about 10 inches up, just so I make sure those bubbles pop on the way down.
It really looks like cake batter with sprinkles.
It really does. Perfect. And so since I added the terrazzo, the terrazzo takes up a little bit of space, so we'll have a decent amount of excess product.
Oh, that's true.
So I'm gonna go like this and then tap this to make sure we have no bubbles forming underneath in there.
More bubbles with the terrazzo in it.
It depends. So if I were to have sprinkled this in the mold, just that, you could do that, I guess, but that's how you'll get more bubbles, is that air will get trapped underneath that terrazzo. And since Jesmonite AC100 isn't self-leveling, we have to tap and make sure.
Right. It is thick. I think that you said it was like pancake batter.
Yeah. I said when you're mixing it, you want it to be about the same consistency as pancake batter.
And bubbles are popping. I see that.
So yeah, so the more you just tap, the more bubbles will come up. And then it will be done in 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to give it a quick sand for about 10 minutes after to reveal that terrazzo.
Okay.
And then it'll be perfect and done.
So we'll come back in 20 or so.
20, yeah.
It's just demolded this and sanded. What parts did you sand?
I just sanded this internal part because you can see it comes out of the mold looking
Right.
like that, so you can't really see the terrazzo in it. So you just hit it with a sanding sponge or a sander, and you get that terrazzo revealed underneath. This was
That is so pretty.
You could probably sand a little bit more, but I just wanted to be able to show you guys just the
That is
difference
so
there.
pretty. So if this was going to be used for something wet, that's when we would worry about sealing
Yeah,
it.
you would go ahead and seal it with either one of our acrylic sealers. It comes in a matte form or gloss form. You could also seal it with a wax sealer. I've used those as well. I would maybe for a soap dish,
Okay.
I would use the acrylic sealers just to give that more.
Yeah,
durability.
right. And so you know what? This would be a really cute tray to set these on.
Yes.
And I'm wondering, would 2 fit on there? Yep. Look at that. Perfect. Awesome. We had fun. So thank you so much. I think these are adorable and really versatile and water-based. And you don't have to use a respirator mask, except that when you're mixing the powder, if you are one who really gets it airborne, you might want to at least put a paper mask
Yeah,
on.
at least that. But other than that, it's healthy for you.
Yeah.
It's not going to have any toxic fumes released as well. It's very nice, very easy.
Thank you so much. We're just so happy they came to Creativation. Thank you so much for sharing us time with
Thank you
us.
guys so much.
Thanks everyone for watching.